back to the Lars Larson Show.
Welcome back to the program. It's a pleasure to be with you on a Wednesday. Always glad to take your calls. And as I mentioned before the break, the U.S. may be sitting closer to war with Iran than most Americans think so. I thought I'd reach out to Steve Cotton, who's president of Cotton Wealth Management Associates. Steve, welcome to the program. And where do you think we stand with regard to Iran? Are we going to war with them?
Well, thank you, Lars. It's nice to be on with you. I think President Trump is putting the pieces in place so as to maximize his options. The Iranians clearly are playing for time. They've conducted live fire drills in the Gulf of Hormuz, which is the constriction point for much of the globe's oil shipping. They have threatened that they can shut it down if they so choose. I guarantee you that the United States will not let that happen. And so I think we're closer to the end of the negotiations than people realize, maybe even than the Iranians realize. But I think that they really don't have a lot of cards to play with, frankly.
Well, see, and that's what I'm wondering, Steve. If they don't have a lot of cards, at some point, do they just believe that for public consumption in downtown Tehran, they've got to put on a strong front, and then at some point they'll cave in? Because does anybody foresee a good outcome for Iran if they go to war with with the world superpower, the United States?
No, the Iranians have had a history of negotiating without being in good faith. They've done it for 20, 30, 40 years. They are still doing it. They cannot, ideologically, they cannot afford to cave in to Western demands that they dismantle their nuclear program, that they eliminate their missiles. They can't do it and save face. They may agree to something, but everybody in the area is going to be telling us you can't trust them. Everybody knows that. President Trump knows that. The Israelis know that. Even their fellow Arabs. You know, the Iranians are Persians. They're not Arabs.
Yep.
The Arabs in the area don't trust the Iranians and never have. The Saudis have been quietly working with the Israelis to neuter the Iranians for a long time, and that's way below the surface. Never admitted publicly, but the Iranians don't have many friends left in the Middle East in their own backyard. And I think the group that's the most exposed is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is the military vanguard.
The IRGC, yep.
Yeah, the IRGC. And I think they stand to lose all of their naval assets. The regime stands to lose the rest of its military assets, the missile manufacturing facilities. The one thing, Lars, I don't think they will lose in a conflict are the Iranian oil fields, because I believe that the American military plan will be to preserve that for the next Democratic government. They do not wish the people of Iran ill.
No, I don't think they do. And frankly, the whole country would be better off if it shifted from we're building bombs, we're building missiles, we're causing trouble, we're funding terrorism, to we're going to spend this money on our local population. You can have your own self-defense without being the country seeking a nuclear weapon, which, at least as far as Iran goes, I think is more of an offensive than a defensive weapon. But am I correct that if the United States chose to, they could bomb the daylights out of Karg Island, the big transfer point for a lot of that oil, and shut down their exports of oil altogether, couldn't they?
They could. The thing that I would fear would be an environmental disaster like we saw in Cuba when Hussein, set all of the oil fields on fire. If it looks like the Iranian regime is going to fall, the question is, will they torch their own oil fields?
Oh, my God.
To that asset to
is that really, I mean, the Mad Mullahs really that crazy, Steve?
I think they are very destructive. They are very hateful. I think they realize they're facing the possible end of their regime. And I think they're capable of doing anything.
So if they walk this up close enough to the line, don't they just give Trump the license he needs to be able to say, then we're going to do some strategic strikes, take out the IRGC's naval assets, and take out the missile manufacturing plants, and leave the oil alone, and completely diminish their ability to make, well, not completely, but largely diminish their ability to make trouble.
Yes, I think that would be the plan, but I don't think you're going to see half measures. I don't think that if this trigger is tripped, if they wear out the president's patience, I don't believe that the administration is going to take half measures. I think it's going to remove the regime, and it'll collapse the regime. The people in the street will take over. The challenge is what follows, and there is not a clear successor, despite the fact that the son of the Shah has said he is ready to help with a transition government. I don't think he has enough overwhelming public support to carry that off, but we may not have a whole lot of good options.
No, and in fact, I kind of wonder, when the Khomeini came in, when the Khomeini originally came in, he said, I'll make the streets run red with blood, and he did. And he took the country from a country that was on the edge of the 21st century and took them back to a large extent, other than for weapons, took them right back to what, the 1600s or something. So he took the country backwards, and their population has suffered as a result, haven't they?
It suffered badly. The rial has collapsed. The Iranian currency has collapsed. Their economic picture has collapsed. They've got high inflation. It's an absolute disaster. They've got brownouts and blackouts. Their oil infrastructure has rusted and is crumbling as they have not invested in it when they've been shipping, weapons and money off to Hezbollah and Hamas and their other proxies, the Houthis. They have misallocated resources. And that's why the public in Iran is so upset with them, is because they have been grossly incompetent. They've been malevolent. They've not taken care of the people. They've destroyed the economy. And they've all done that to themselves. It hadn't been Western sanctions that's created the worst of that. It's been the Iranians' own mismanagement of the economy.
I couldn't agree with you more. Steve, thanks very much. We appreciate your time.
All right.
That is Steve Cotton, who's president of Cotton Wealth Management Associates.